Hi guys, Luke Burke here,
Sam Burke here.
and we've both been working for NICI, the National Indigenous Culinary Institute, for the past 8 years.
Today we're going to take you through the NICI culinary cooking experience for NAIDOC Week.
And now we're just going to show you through that you'll receive in your box. We'll break it down for you, and we'll go from there. You'll all get the pork belly, that will be cry-backed, weighed out for you, portioned. You'll have your Rubens, which is spiced up and with your pork chopped through it. You'll have your spice mixture that we'll already prepare, ready to go. Your garlic, which we'll crush later. Your parsley, which we'll chop and put on there, and then some twining butcher's string so you can tie it all up.
We have a range of mushrooms, a lime, some garlic, some cannellini beans, some butter, some feta, some sesame seeds, some coriander, some fresh kale, and some spring onion.
Okay, so the first step that we're going to do with starting the box, you can do this the day before or the night before, which will really help the final result of your pork. So what we've done, we've removed it out of the cryback bag, we've patted it dry with some paper towel, and now we've got some boiling water on the stove. You can use your kettle, same thing. What we're going to do is we're going to pop it in a tray, or you can do this over the sink, so that way it doesn't pour it out and burn anyone, which is going to take. So Sam's going to take the water now and just lightly pour it over the top slowly. So that way we're just blanching the skin a little bit. And then once we blanch that, we're just going to remove it onto a nice tray, and then we're going to sit that in the fridge overnight, uncovered, so it gets all that cold air straight onto the skin to dry it out.
Hello, I am Jane DeGraff from 9honey and 9.com.au, and I am here with my beautiful ingredients from the National Indigenous Culinary Institute from the Home Cooking Box. And today I have been tasked with the job of showing you how to tie up your porchetta. So I'm going to show you how to roll the pork and tie the pork the way I do it at home here in my own kitchen. What I have here are our beautiful herbs and spices that we've already mixed together. Oh, you can smell the pepperberry in there. That's absolutely beautiful. Mine's got heaps of extra garlic in it. And then all I'm going to do is spread this all over our pork, belly side up. We want the skin on the outside because that's going to crisp up in the oven. So here we go. I'm going to spread this all over our pork. Okay, spread that out. Oh, it smells incredible. Now, there's no two ways about this. This is going to be messy for your hands. So you're going to have to get your fingers in there, and we'll just have to roll with it, my friends. So in we go. Spread that all out. I want that all over. It's like a paste, so paste it on. Spread, spread, spread. Oh, it smells so good. Really squeeze it in there. Now, don't worry, this is going to be messy when we fold it up. We may have some of our stuffing that comes out, but don't worry about that. You can just stuff it back in, and that's half the fun of doing this cooking at home. So that is our beautiful herb paste all stuck onto our pork. Get all those bits. You don't want to miss any. And what I have here is our kangaroo mince. Now this has been mixed with some other bits of beautiful, delicious fats in there. This has got some pork in it. You can put some beef in there too, and you just need a little bit of fat in with that kangaroo mince. And all I'm going to do now is lay that down the middle of our pork. Here we go. Again, you got to get your fingers in there. So just lay it all the way down the middle. And it is going to get squeezed when we tie, so don't worry about that. It'll get all squished in there. Spread it all right out. Push it a little bit further that way. Ah, so much fun. Creativity in the kitchen. All right. Now it's time to do our tying. And for that, you're going to need a whole lot of string. When you cut your kitchen string, do not be shy. You're going to need lots of it, so make sure you cut a nice long piece. The first thing I'm going to do is take it in the middle. You can see it's so long. I'm going to take it in the middle and slide it under our pork right to the middle. Then I'm going to shape our pork around a bit and make sure that it's got a bit of a bend in it to help us with the tying. Here we go. Push that in there. Rightio. So that is essentially the shape that we're going to end up with, and we're going to do our very best to tie all those bits inside it. But like I said, This is messy. Don't worry if some of it comes out. All right, so get your string. And it's going to take some concentration on my part. Here we go. We're just going to tie a knot because this is the first part that keeps it all together. Here we go. There we go, right up the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to anchor that knot and secure it together so that we can do our fancy knot work. Here we go. There we go. Rightio. The next thing we're going to do is take our piece of string, slide it underneath, pull it back towards us. I don't know if I'm explaining this very well. And then we're going to twist it under. This will give us a chance to really pull that together and create the shape of our knot. And we're just going to do that again all the way down. So it's a bit of a twist and roll action. And away we go again. Go. Pull it around if you need to. Yank. See, they gave me the easy job, hey? And again, all the way to the end of our piece of pork. There we go. Oh, those herbs. Oh, you can smell them. They're so beautiful. All right, pull it tight. There we go. And what it does is like a blanket stitch, what my gran used to call a blanket stitch, all the way down your piece of pork. And then you're just going to tuck it under at the end to sort of hold it in place. Hope you can see my fingers okay. It's a bit of a tricky one to show off. There we go. That is one side, and we're going to repeat that down the other side of our pork. Here we go. Ooh. Blanket stitch. Oh yeah, it's exactly what we're after. Twist it around, slide it under. This is where craft and culinary skills come together. Alrighty. Now, after all my tips about making sure you've got enough string, I almost didn't have enough myself. So like I said, be brave, always go with more string rather than less. But there we are at the end of our beautiful roll of pork like that. Secure the end, give it a bit of a twist. Now, you can push everything in as much as you can, and you can flip that straight over and pop it onto the tray, or you can add some more string all the way around it again. It's entirely up to you. Because this is home cooking, we're going to pop it in exactly like that. It's all holding together beautifully. And we're going to flip it over and pop it into our roasting tray. In she goes. There we go. Lovely blanket stitch. Look at that, all trussed up and tied up to hold it all in shape. Now the last thing we're going to do is rub it down with some oil. Here we go. Give it a good old rub, good old massage for the pig. And then that is going to go into the oven to let our skin crisp and bubble up. Thanks for having me.
So the first step after the pork, we're just going to grab our mushrooms and we're going to prep those up. So Samuel's going to slice our king browns nice and thinly, and then for our other mushrooms, we're just going to quarter. So once we've sliced and chopped up our mushrooms, we've also got that 1 clove of garlic, which we're going to thinly slice. And then once all that's ready, you can just leave it on the side, and we can grab our skillet or a fry pan and get that warming up. So once we got our pan on and warmed up to a nice medium temperature, not too high, we're going to pop in our olive oil. And then half the amount of butter. Nice and toasty, stir that around. And then we'll start off with our big king brown mushrooms. Pop those in. Little pinch of our Murray River pink salt. So when we pop them in the pan, we're just going to saute them off to a nice golden brown colour. After 2 minutes, we're just going to pop the rest of our mushrooms in. A little bit of the remaining butter. And our sliced garlic that we did. So after we've finished cooking it, you can see all the king browns and gone nice and golden. We're just going to transfer that to a bowl and then set on the side. So after we finish with our mushrooms and set that onto the side, we're going to start with the white bean puree. So we've got the cannellini beans that we got in the can. We've rinsed them with cold water, drained them, and now they're ready to go. We've got our olive oil, a little bit of water, black pepper, our lime, salt, and our garlic. So first step we want to do is we're going to crush this garlic a little bit. You can use the back of the knife, whatever you feel comfortable using. And we're going to pop that in the blender. We're going to pop our white beans in the blender with it. We're going to slice our lime in half and squeeze the juice into it. Just half to start. Then we can always add more depending on how much lime juice you want. Pop a little bit of our water just to help it blend and emulsify. And then we also added our olive oil as well. So about 2 tablespoons goes into there. Pop the lid on. And we're going to blend that into a nice smooth paste. So if you're finding that your puree is getting too thick, you can always add just a touch more water just to help it blend a little bit better. So now that we've blended it for 1 to 2 minutes, we're just going to pop a little bit of salt and pepper in it. We're going to give a little pinch of salt, probably the same amount of pepper. We're going to blend that for a little bit, then we'll check the taste, and then we'll see if it needs adjusting. So now that we've blended it, you can see that it's a nice smooth consistency, nice and silky. We're just going to pop that in our bowl, and then sit that on the side. So after we've done our white bean puree, we've set that on the side. We're going to go ahead and grab our cahill. We're going to wash that, de-stem it. So someone's going to do that for me.
So just pull from the bottom up.
So what you're going to do is pretty much just grab it from the bottom. You're going to pull all the way up, and then that way you're left with the stem. You can keep that. You can use it as well. So in the restaurant we use it in our seasonal winter greens. We slice it up and then cook that to start, like our onion base with the woody stems. That way we can use the whole part of the cahill and with no waste. So you want to get in there, rinse the cahill nice and evenly, drain that all off. So we've got that. You can do this in your sink. We've just got a little bowl of water here. Leave that to dry on the side. So while that's drying, we just got our spring onions and we're just going to slice that up nice and thinly. So what you can do, just grab your spring onions, line them up nice and evenly. Don't have to rush, just take your time. The thinner you can get it, the better it is, but just take your time. Get a nice sharp knife, always helps. So now that's done, We've got our spring onions all diced up, nice and evenly. Our Cahill's washed, and now we're just going to get our skillet back on that we used before with the mushrooms. We're just going to heat that up to a medium heat again with a little bit of oil, and we're just going to saute the Cahill and the green onions.
So first step, we're going to add the oil, just a good amount. Next step, we're going to add all the Cahill. Just make sure you squeeze all the excess water out of it, because it's going to spark out water everywhere. So put that straight in. Make sure you're really careful. Just toss it around. Going to season with salt as we're going, so just a pinch of salt. And just toss that for like 1 to 2 minutes on a high heat quickly.
And you'll start to see all those beautiful green leaves. They'll start to go like a fluoro green. That's a good indication that the leaves are nearly cooked and crispy.
So at this stage, we're going to add the spring onions, the ones we chopped earlier. Just want to put that straight in. And then we're going to toss it for like 30 seconds and then take it straight out. So I have a bowl ready and we're going to put it straight into the bowl. Make sure we get all of it.
So now that we've got all our ingredients prepped and ready, our pork's just nearly finished. It's been about 2.5 to 3 hours. We're just going to go check on it now to see how it's traveling. So now that you can see that porchetta's come nice and crispy and golden, we're just going to sit it out on the bench and leave it to rest for about 10 minutes. So it's nice and cool and rested and ready to slice. So now that we've got our porchetta out of the oven, we've top and tailed it, sliced the top and the bottom. We're going to take all the strings off, all of the twine that we did before. We're going to pop that off. Just be very careful because it might open up, so just try and keep it nice and tight. Should be really easy once you've cut that string just to peel it off. So that way when we go to slice it, we're not cutting through any of that string. So now that we've done that, we've got our porchetta ready, we've got our mushrooms sauteed, we've got the Cahill, we've got the white bean puree, we've got all our garnishes, so we've got our feta. We've popped out a nice plate. You can grab a nice black, which we've used. You can choose any plate at home, a nice one you can plate on.
So once we've removed all the string, I'm going to slice the pork up. Just be careful, it's going to be really hot. So if you want, use a pair of tongs just to press on the porchetta, not your hand. So I'm going to slice up two nice even pieces for now. There's one. You can use a bread knife for this. It works really well to cut through the pork. So there's our 2 pieces. We'll leave them to the side. You can see how nice mix the pork and that's a nice crackle. So first we're going to start off with the white bean puree. Luke's going to start with that.
So just going to grab a nice plate, pop your white bean puree on the side. You can do a nice smear like we're going to do today. Just like that.
Be quite generous.
Next we're going to grab our mushrooms. So our sauteed mushrooms with the garlic. I'm going to pop that down on the plate. Our sauteed curl and our spring onions, just going to pop that down on the plate.
And then finally we're going to finish with our pork. So I'm going to rest that on top, show it off. And then also to finish, on the garnish side, we're going to add some sesame seeds. I've given to you. Some nice sesame seeds. Some nice coriander. Just to finish off there, we're going to give you some of that. And then last of all, we're going to put on some crumb feta.
You just crumble that all over the top. Beautiful.
And then just finish with some nice olive oil. You can go pretty generous with that as well. Some nice EVO. And then you can also put, and if you want any extra lime, put some extra lime juice or citrus on the side. With any leftover pork, you can save it, use for nice sandwiches, stuff like that. Any of the leftover stuff can be reheated. You can put the mushrooms reheat again, make it into any dish you'd like. All good for components to make a nice sandwich. Would be really good. So this is our final product. I'd like to thank you guys very much for participating with us.
And to tag us on Chef Burke Twins on Instagram to see all your creative ideas that you've finished with.
And thanks guys.